Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are fit and healthy. So, dear students, today we will see another topic that is chrysophytes. So, you know that kingdom Protista it is divided into photosynthetic protist, slime molds, and protozoan protist. In our previous video, we have studied about dinoflagellates. Today, we will study about chrysophytes under photosynthetic protist. So, let us see the group chrysophytes. It includes two members, that is diatoms and desmids. These organisms they are aquatic and they are photosynthetic. They may be found floating on water and they are microscopic and they are the chief producers of the oceans. So let us see first of all the diatoms. So dear students, you need to know at least two general characteristics. So the most important characteristic is that their cell wall it is made up of cellulose and the cell wall is very strong. It is strong because it has silica deposited in it. So basically its cell wall it is made up of two shells, and these two shells they appear like two overlapping shells or two parts of soap case. So the cell wall it is made up of silica and it has two shells and they appear like two walls of soap case. My dear students, you should know that these diatoms they do not decay easily. They pile up at the bottom of the water bodies, and after that their shells break and they form diatomaceous earth. So diatomaceous earth it is mined and it is taken out as a whitish powder that is known as diatomite, which is used in industries such as brewing industry, sugar industry, as well as it is used as a polishing material for metals and for making insulated bricks for insulation of refrigerators. It is also used even in toothpaste and in paints to increase the night visibility and as well as a filler in battery boxes. So these two are the general important features of diatoms. Now my dear students, let us learn about euglenoids. These are the spindle shaped organisms and they are also found in fresh water and they show mesotrophic mode of nutrition. These organisms lead both plant-like and animal-like life, and they are also found in the stagnant water and damp soil. So dear students, you need to know the two general characteristics of euglenoid. So let us see the first important character, that is they are showing the green forms. They are showing holophytic nutrition. So holophytic nutrition means it is photoautotrophic nutrition. But in the absence of light, that is if they are kept in darkness, the holophytic forms they behave like heterotrophs, means they will behave like heterotroph, they will predate on other small organisms. So in the same single organism two types of nutrition are observed, and that is saprophytic and photoautotrophic or holophytic nutrition. So this type of nutrition is called as mesotrophic nutrition, in which two different types of nutrition is observed. Another important feature is that they do not have cell wall. So they do not have cell wall, but their body it is covered with proteinaceous cover that is known as pellicle. Then another important feature is that they have a central nucleus and they have chloroplast which contain pigments, that is chlorophyll A, B, beta carotene, xanthophyll. These pigments they are similar to those pigments which are found in higher plants. So another important thing is that they also have a eye spot. As you can see at the interior end there is a eye spot. Eye spot basically it is sensing the light, and for their locomotion they are using the large flagella. So they have two flagella, that is the small and the long one. So each flagella, it is used for the locomotion. So dear students, these were some important characters of eulinoid, that is they have the large flagellum for locomotion and their body is devoid of cell wall, and at the interior end they have eye spot and nucleus is placed in the middle, and they have large number of chloroplast also containing the pigments. Next, my dear student, let us learn about the third group, that is slime molds. So these slime molds, they are basically the animal like in their vegetative phase and plant like in their reproductive phase. So where they are found in damp shady places. Also they are found in the decaying leaves and on the old woods. These slime molds, they prefer moisture, darkness or dim light for their growth. So only two general characteristics you have to do under slime molds. So the first important character that we have just discussed is that they are showing animal like behavior in their vegetative phase and plant like behavior in their reproductive phase. Then after that, another important feature is that they reproduce by means of spores, and these spores, they are produced in sac-like structure that is known as sporangium. And the slime molds, they may be colorless, they may be of various color also, like yellow, orange and brown. Then the slime molds, their nutrition is holocarpic. Then you should also know that they are further divided into two groups, that is acellular slime molds, and it is an underclass Myxomycetes, and another one is cellular slime mold, it is underclass, that is Acrasiomycetes. So dear students, you should know the two important features of slime mold, that they are showing animal like behavior in their vegetative phase but plant like behavior in the reproductive phase, and they do not have cell wall, they show amoeboid movement. And there are two groups further, that is acellular slime molds, cellular slime molds. Another important thing is that they do not have chlorophyll and they are reproducing by means of spores. So these are some of the general characters of slime mold, and two examples you should know, that is of Fuligo and Physarum. These are two important examples of slime molds. So this was all about the slime molds. Now my dear students, you should know different types of protist protozoans. So first one is zooflagellate, then Sarcodina, Sporozoa and Ciliata. These are further groups under protozoan protist. So let us see here. So the first group is, that is zooflagellata under protistan protozoa. My dear students, you need to know only two general characters. We will learn about the two important characteristic features of further this protozoan protist, and two examples you need to learn. So the group 1, that is zooflagellata, it consists of flagellate protozoan protist, and their organ of locomotion and for food capture they have the flagella, and their nutrition is saprotrophic, and they are reproducing by longitudinal binary fission, means their body will divide it into two parts. They are mostly endoparasite, means they will be living inside the body of the host, and two important examples are Trypanosoma and Giardia. So these are the two important examples of zooflagellata. So the another group is Sarcodina, and the example is amoeba, entamoeba. So you have studied in your lower classes also that they have false feet, that is amoeba have false feet, that is known as pseudopodia for locomotion, and they are also endoparasitic in nature. So these are two important features of Sarcodina. Next, if we talk about another group, that is Sporozoa, they are also endoparasite, but they are living parasitic mode of nutrition, parasitic mode of life, and they are heterotrophic and sporozoic, and the examples are Plasmodium, Monocystis. So these are two examples of group that is Sporozoa. They are the parasitic protozoan protist. Now the last group is of Ciliata. So they are also endoparasitic. The most common example is that of Paramecium, Vorticella. These are the two examples of Ciliata. And here they also divide by transverse binary fission, and they are also found in fresh water. So they have cilia for locomotion and for food gathering. So this is all about kingdom Protista. So this is all for today. Take care everyone.